Hello and welcome to my Fresco Introduction for Beginners tutorial. This video is for you beginners who have not tried Fresco yet. I'll be giving you an overview of the basic tools and functions as well as an introduction to some simple techniques. By the end of this video, you will be able to start creating your own art in Fresco. So, join me and let's get started. Fresco is an iPad app, so if you are a Creative Cloud All Apps subscriber, Fresco is automatically included. If you are a Creative Cloud Photoshop Single Plan subscriber, Fresco is also included. But if you are not currently subscribed to Creative Cloud, you can get a 7-day free trial, and it's available for you to explore the plan of your choice. If, on the other hand, you do not need a Creative Cloud subscription, you can simply download both the Fresco and the Capture app from the App Store for free. With such a choice of great painting and drawing apps available on the market for the iPad, and I've tried dozens of them, why do I like Fresco? Well, I like being able to use vector and pixel brushes in the same document. The brushes are free and they are so fantastic. All of the pixel brushes are the same Photoshop brushes designed by Kyle Webster, and they are endless. The live watercolor and oil brushes really have to be seen to be believed. And designing repeat patterns, it's easy and intuitive. So let's see what Fresco is all about. This is your home page when you first open the app. You can start a new document. The templates that you use most are shown. And if you select custom, you will see all of the canvas sizes that you have created and saved. If you select learn, you will be taken to a choice of tutorial videos, and there are a lot, and I suggest that you go through them all, and it's a great learning experience. Select Discover to see a library of streaming live videos by artists using a Fresco and some examples of finished projects. So back to home, and here you will see the last 20 projects you were working on. To open, click on the image, and then when you're done, click on the small arrow at the top left of the screen. So okay, it's nice to have access to my last 20 projects, but where's the rest of my stuff? Well, if I click on my files, here they are, all neatly saved in their respective folders. So, if you open the folder Pattern and Designs that I created, here are all my patterns. And here's my card folder, all of my cards neatly saved right here. You can have as many folders as you need. Just click on New Folder, give it a name, and start moving your files into it. So here are my posters. I have many files, so if they were all mixed together with the cards and the patterns and so on, can you imagine scrolling through all of that to just find the one file I needed? So folders, really, really useful. So, I think we're ready to open our first new document. If you haven't already created and saved a canvas that you want to use, click Custom. Input the size of your canvas. input your print size, which really means resolution, and I always work in 300. You can then choose your background if you want a white background or a transparent background to start. Then you save the size and give it a name. Now I'm not going to do that as I already have this size canvas. Instead, I'm going to open this 1200 by 1200 size canvas. We now have a totally different screen. So let's take a look at the top right of the screen. These are the undo and redo buttons, but it's much faster to use the 2-finger tap to undo and the 3-finger tap to redo. The question mark are help files, tutorials, shortcuts. So there's so much under the hood here that I really suggest that you explore on your own, and you will learn a lot just from here. Here is the 2-finger and the 3-finger tap that we just looked at before. This is the share button. So these are the different formats that you can export your file in. It includes the PSD, the Photoshop file. Or you could share directly to Illustrator on the iPad or your desktop. The cog wheel takes you to the canvas settings. So we just draw a little doodle here. Here you can change the size of your canvas. You can flip it horizontally or vertically. You can rotate. And you can toggle on and off touch shortcuts and artboard preview, which we're not going to bother with that for now. We leave it alone for now. The app settings, some of these have become indispensable for me. Try them out for yourself. Example, snap to shape. You can draw a rough round circle, hold, and it will turn into a perfect circle. This works for squares, rectangles, triangles, curves. It's great. Sometimes it can get in the way, so you can turn it off and turn it on as you need it. So again, for now, just go through and familiarize yourself with all of the different settings here. Okay, so now let's move down and take a look at the layers. When a new document is created, 2 layers are opened. One, the background layer, and a blank layer on top. Right from the start, you don't have to make a selection of a brush. Fresco assumes that you are going to want to sketch out your ideas and will give you a pencil brush. Hold the brush upright for thin lines and tilt the brush for shading. Click on the 3 dots and the Layer Actions window will open. Let's assume you'll want to draw on top of this layer to refine your sketch. To open a new layer, press the plus sign. Open the Layers Properties window, click on the layer and lower the opacity using the sliders. Now on the new layer, you can draw over the faint outlines of the first sketch. If you wish to hide these layers, click on the eye icon next to them, and let's open a new layer. Okay, so now this time we're going to use a grid to help us draw. And you can resize your grid, and you can also change the color and the opacity of the grid lines. So for more precision, let's make sure that the snapping is toggled on. This is very helpful when we are creating patterns because we need to use precise areas of the canvas. So we will close this window and go back to the full screen. To adjust the canvas size as you're working, use your fingers to pinch and pull your canvas. When working in detail, you can zoom right into the area that you need. To delete a layer, click on the three dots and choose Delete Layer. So we'll go through all these layer actions in greater detail in later tutorials. So the next tool down on the right is the animation or the motion tool. I think we're going to skip that for now. Next, we have some drawing aids. We have a ruler tool, and we can use it for straight lines as well as measured lines. And we also can draw a square, a circle, polygon, which we can transform and fill with color. And the little bug, well, that's exactly what it is. If you have a problem and you want to report a bug, you do it here. So now we've come to the fun part, the Fresco brushes. The first three tools are the brush tools. We have pixel brushes, watercolor and oil brushes, and my favorite, the vector brushes. The first group here comes standard with the app. First, let's take a look at the basic pixel brushes. To increase the size, we use the sliders on the left or a long hold on the size window to input a number. The smooth tool is just that. If your stroke has a bit of a wobble, just increase the slider and now you will get a nice smooth line. So we are going to skip the next tool for now. And the last tool on the left, that's the properties, brush properties settings that you can change. Now, I never play with these. I don't think I'm smart enough. Very happy with the controls that come with the brushes as they are. In addition to the basic set, you have hundreds of brushes to select from. It will take months to go over them all, so just play with them, and when you find a brush that you like, click on the star to the right and it'll be saved in your favorites. So here is a fun brush set, multicolored. You can use them as a stamp, or you can draw a line with them. Look at the choice. You never run out of options. Remember, these are all Photoshop brushes. They've been designed by Kyle Webster, and as a Creative Cloud subscriber, they're all free. Let's take a quick look at the Concepts brush set. So many, it would take a few moments to load from the cloud. You really have to explore them to appreciate the choice that you have here. But if you do need more, click on the plus sign at the bottom of the list and you can download more brushes. So Kyle brings out more free brush sets 4 times every year. Find them by clicking Discover New Brushes and look at all of them. Any brush set that you see here that you would like, you can add to your brushes, or you can remove them if you no longer wish to use them. So just take your time and browse. I'm going to make some marks with this gouache brush. Do you see on the right, automatically Fresco opened a new layer for you, and there's a little symbol on it that shows that you are using a pixel brush. Sometimes you will use so many brushes in a painting, it's hard to remember them all. Well, just go to Recent, and here they all are. When you save your document, the recent brushes will also be saved, so the next time you're ready to work on your painting, they're there waiting for you. Vector brushes, my favorite. These basic brushes work like filled blob brushes, and it's no more chasing around and manipulating little nodes. They are so easy to work with, and they are pressure sensitive. Did I tell you I love them? So I'm just going to draw this shape. Nice smooth lines. Look at that. I'll clean that up a bit. There we go. And I'm going to choose another color. And I'll fill in the inside. So I'm going to draw an outline, and I'm going to fill it with the paint bucket tool. I'm going to choose another color. Which should I use? Maybe this green, a little darker. Click on the inside and it's filled. You can actually make a line, the width, as small as half a pixel. You can barely see it, but it's there. It's there. So let's increase the size a little bit. There you go. And again, you can manipulate, change the brush settings, create new brushes if you like. Try out the taper brushes. Nice. These jitter brushes are really fun. You have a light jitter. Gives you just a look at that variation of the line. Beautiful for outlining. And we have a heavy, medium, and a heavy. The heavy is kind of funky. And we have some 3 manga brushes here. They're good too. I use them for outlining sometimes. And whoops, I'm still on the funny brush here. Okay, there. And so you get nice inking lines with them. Useful. I can try out the other 2. Very similar. Notice the vector brush symbol on the layer. Are you ready for the blow your mind watercolor brushes? Notice how the options here have changed to show water and flow choices. You can crank up the amount of water for a realistic wet on wet technique. And again, you're free to manipulate the brush controls. All right, let's check this out. Let's choose a pink. And let's start to lay down a wash. Now look at that. Isn't that wild? You see how the water is moving? The paint is actually moving and flowing. Let's float in some blue. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. It's flowing into the pink. Now, let's turn back the flow of water and we're getting a drier brush. So this would be, I guess something like the wet on dry paper. You get some streaks, but it's still wet enough to get a wet and wet look to it. Now, if you didn't want the paint to flow in the real world, you would have to wait for your paper to dry. But here, all you have to do is click on Dry Paper. Now, as I paint over it, it will not flow into the previous marks. Well, we can test it out on this other one up here, this other patch. There you go. The line is staying nice and clean. However, this pink here was not dried, so it will move a little bit. Do you see that there? It behaves just like real watercolor. It is so incredible. What will these splatter brushes do? Oh, have to hit a little. There you go. There you go. Random splatters. And this is the watercolor round detail brush. So we haven't dried the layer, so you can see how it's running a little bit in the wet areas. These are the oil brushes. Now I really don't use these very much, but I suggest you play with them and you see the different textures and impasto effects that you can get with them. You can also control the wet blending between the colors, and you can set the brush to reload color, and that simulates the dipping of a real brush into more paint. Or you can deselect reload color, and when you blend, the blended color that you were last using will be maintained. The next tool that we're going to explore is the eraser tool. So by default, you have a basic set of brushes that you can erase with. But you can also erase with any brush that you were painting with. First, go into the app settings and select Erase with Brush. Now, paint with any brush of your choosing. And when you hold down the touch shortcut, you can erase with that same brush. That's pretty neat. Let's try it with another brush. This is the Mystical Smoke Builder. So let's give this a try with the vector brushes. So I'm going to choose a red color for an outline. And I'm going to fill it with a contrasting color. and we'll erase across it with the jitter brush. And we'll fill the background with red. So I'll pick this red, paint bucket tool, tap. It's not filling. Oh, because I'm on the background layer. I first have to convert the background layer to a pixel layer. There it works. I have turned off the background layer and I'm going to choose a pixel brush. Notice how Fresco is opening vector and pixel layers for us. Now I'm going to erase with a standard pixel erase brush. Now the next tool down is the smudge tool. The background and the vector layers are turned off. You can choose any brush to smudge or shade with. Let's try the transform tool. See, you can move your image anywhere on the canvas. Clicking the corner and the middle nodes will allow you to resize. And if you wish to constrain the proportions, hold the touch shortcut button. When you're finished, click Done. I'm turning back on the background layer so you can see the effect of the shading or the smudging. Okay, so we're going to play a little bit. At the same time, we will learn a few more tools. Using another color, we will add to the drawing that we have now. Make sure you click on the right layer. Back to the graphite smudge brush, and we are going to smooth the edges. Oh, they're so soft and lovely. And if you look carefully, you'll actually see the texture of the canvas under the brush marks. Now move it up, and when done, click Done. Click on the three dots to the right of the layer toolbar and choose Duplicate Layer. Now you can see that we have two layers with the same image directly on top of each other. Move the second image, and using the options at the top on the right, flip vertically or horizontally. Move the second layer onto the first. Now we're going to make these two layers into one. In the layer panel, select Multiple, select Both, and Group using the folder. Now both layers will operate as one. In the Move Transform tool, there are other cool options like Skew, Distort, Perspective, and liquefy. You can spend hours just playing with these. And under the liquefy options, again you can warp, reconstruct, smooth, twirl, pucker, bloat, push to the left. Imagine that. Okay, so what's next? The lasso brush, or the lasso tool rather. Let's use a basic vector brush. Now 99% of my designs are created with just this one brush. It's my favorite. So I'm going to draw a leaf. And I'm going to make sure it's closed completely. There you go. And I'm going to fill it with green. Good. Now I'm going to choose a darker green. And same vector brush. Going to draw another leaf, and I'm going to fill that one too. But that's not where I want it. I want it on top of the first leaf. So, choosing the lasso tool, I'm carefully going to draw around the second leaf, transform it, move it, and move it up to the top. I can reposition it, and there you go. Now deselect. Okay, so I want to work on the darker leaf only. I'm not going to touch the lighter leaf. So I'm going to use the magic wand under the lasso tool and click on the darker leaf to isolate it. What I'm going to do is draw some pale green veins with a smaller brush. Notice, even if I start drawing from way outside, my mark will only appear within the selected area. Deselect. I will do the same for the lighter leaf, and I'll be using the darker color. Notice all the colors we've used so far in this document are showing up in the palette. So I'm drawing the veins. Now, on closer inspection, I've been a little bit sloppy. I can't use the eraser because I will also erase the green. Well, Fresco thought of that. Double tap on the shortcut button and tap once more so the outer ring is blue, and watch this magic. Neat? Double tap shortcut button and deselect when done. So let's move down now to the place image. So you can bring a file into your document from your photos, your files, your libraries, Creative Cloud. Frankly, when I tried to use a camera, it didn't work for me. So I'm going to bring a file in from my Dropbox. So I'm going to go to my bird folder, and I'm going to choose this J and bring it in. There we go. Now I can resize it, make it as large as I like. And when I'm finished, click Done. When you insert an image, Fresco will automatically create a palette for you based on the image. So your two palettes will be saved with your file when you shut down. I'm going to reduce the opacity of this image. Select the layer, then select the layer properties and reduce the opacity. And I'm going to create a new layer above. So I bet you already figured out where we're going with this. I'm going to use this bird as a guide to draw my own bird. I'm going to choose the 2B pencil. Oh, that's just a little bit too thick. You get rid of it and reduce the size. That should do it better. I'm doing a very loose drawing. I'm not trying to copy it exactly. Just basic placement of the main elements. At this stage, I'll turn off the reference layer, and generally, I don't look at it again. It's not too bad. To refine the sketch further, I would again turn down the opacity and open a new layer on top and continue working and processing until I have the design of the bird the way I want. But now I want to show you the text tool. It's the T over on the left. Click where you would like your text to appear, open the keyboard, and start to type. Notice we now have a new layer with the word bird on it. We can select it and resize it, or we can use the layer properties and change the typeface and change the size and various other functions as well. As of the date of making this video, we have the choice of vertical or horizontal type under the type tool. It's very easy to resize and replace the type exactly where you would like it. Also, look how easy it is to change the color of your type. The eyedropper tool is useful for picking colors off of the canvas. And with the paint bucket tool, you can recolor even fine lines. When you're painting with pixel brushes, sometimes when you use the paint bucket tool to fill the inside of the lines, you will see a bit of a ghost line. Let's see. There you go. You see faint white line? Well, you can use the color margin slider to get rid of that. You can move it up, move it down until you no longer see those lines. If you go too far, sometimes you can end up filling the whole canvas, but there you go. Just about there would do it. Now let's save our document. Click on the little backwards arrow at the top left, and there you go, it's in your recent files. To reopen it, click on it, and it has reopened. Now I want to show you all the brushes that you used when you created this document have been saved and are there for you to continue working with. Similarly, your palettes have also been saved. That's just so useful. Well, that's it for this first Intro to Fresco video. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. There'll be many more videos covering a variety of techniques and medias coming up in the future. So please keep in touch. Please hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It will help me greatly. Also, please become a patron on my brand new Patreon site. Thank you. Bye.